welcome. For today's video, what are we going to be looking about is data handling. And so how do we actually use data handling in our daily life? So in our life, it's really important when we face problems with these data handling parts. And so it is a really crucial skill because usually we don't always got everything out for us. So we need to turn those raw data into data so we could actually use. So now for today's survey, we are going to be applying those skills in. So for our survey here, our problem is we've got a survey on how do people allocate their income, their monthly income to their savings, rent, groceries, entertainment, and transportation fees. So these are the things that we're going to focus on. And so our raw data here we already have for that we have collected data out of 5 people, and so these are the amount of money that is spent on the savings, rents, groceries, entertainment, and transportation, respectively. So those are our important points. And so for this whole part here, we are going to come up with ways to represent them out to actually being able to communicate and to use those data effectively. So first, let's apply one first thing, which is tally marks. So how do we actually use tally marks? Tally mark here is going to help us a lot into our next step of frequency table. So let me show you how do we use our tally marks. We could use tally mark as if we're in a really simple way. So basically in savings, you could draw out. I bet you guys have all known how to use those tally marks, right? So savings here, let's say we have 20%, 50%, 30% of their income, 25%, and 20%. You could write 20%, 2 marks, 50%, 1 mark, 30% 1 mark, and 25% 1 mark. And so what is this going to help is that it's going to help in the next part of transforming it into a frequency table. So I'm going to write SRGET in short of saving, rent, groceries, entertainment, and transport for like a quicker outlook. So here we have the frequency table is basically just shows how frequent does something things like happens. So like here we have is our saving row. So we could focus on it first. So we could see here, 1 people spend 50% on their saving, 2 people spend 20% on their saving, 1 people spends 25% on the saving and 1 people spend 30% in their savings. And so the same things happen with the others. So just like here we have entertainment. So it shows that 2 people spend 10% in their entertainment and 3 people spend their money into 2 people spend 50% of their income into entertaining. So that's basically how do we use frequency tables. It is a pretty nice and comfortable way so that we could understand these in like a organized way. So next we have our bar graphs. So this graph here, we have the name of it as like how does, let's say, participant A spend money and spend their income into their daily life. So here on this row here, on this column here, what we have is the percentage of the money. And so here we have savings, rent, groceries, entertainment, and also transportation. So here are the bar that we could show. So by this, we could understand that this person spent 20% on the saving, 40% on the renting, 50% on groceries, 10% on entertainment, and 50% on the transportation part. And so through this bar graph here, we could change it into a pie chart. So pie chart is basically our circle chart like this. I'm sorry because my circle isn't really that perfect. So it's just like an example for you to see. So here 40% of it is for renting, 20% is for savings, 10% on entertainment, 50 and 50 on transportations and groceries. So that's basically a really neat, nice, and organized way so that we could handle our data. And so what are those data handlings going to help us? They help us a lot into our daily life because it helps us to track how do we use them, track those data, and so it basically helps us a lot in data organization and data handling skills. So it is really important so that we could apply it into other concepts such as data handling, data analyzing, data organizing, etc. And also we could use this as a way to represent those informations for others so that they could understand. So basically this is a really neat, organized, and great way to handle our data through the skills of data handling. There's also a lot of other ways to have our data handling such as Venn diagram, Carroll diagram, tally marks, etc. For these kind of surveys, you could try and do one at your home so that you could learn more from them. Thank you so much for listening to my talk. Goodbye and see you next time.